Good morning, Rabbit Freaks. Alexiot's here. It is Wow Wednesday, and we're saying wow about Team Canada practicing at OVOCenter yesterday, starting their practice to get ready for FIBA World Championships in Jakarta. Very, very cool vibes coming from the OVO Center, seeing the top creme de la creme of Canadian basketball players in the NBA showing up for Jordy Fernandez and working out hard. Jordy was quoted yesterday as saying, "It was an easy decision to take the job as the coach of Team Canada. That he jumped at the chance to coach this collective of young Canadian talent. And I tell you, I'm impressed. Like these guys seem like they're very smiley and happy. SGA in particular really takes pride in playing for Team Canada. He has these really cool shoes that he was wearing at practice yesterday with the maple leaf on the front. These guys really take this seriously. And I have high hopes for Team Canada in the years to come. Hopefully, they can perform really well this month and make a breakthrough for Team Canada on the world stage in men's basketball. It'd be fantastic. We, of course, saw Jamal Murray on the bike, riding the bike with SGA, RJ Barrett, Nickel, all these great Canadian players practicing yesterday. But Jamal Murray is being monitored by the doctors, not just the doctors of the Nuggets, but the doctors from Team Canada. And they've described him as being 50-50 as far as whether he will be playing for Team Canada this month or not. They're very much monitoring his progress with his, and also how he feels from playing in the finals not too long ago. There's not totally for sure that Murray will play for us in Jakarta. He's probably the only question mark. Everybody else is pretty much, we know they're going to be there and playing. But Jamal Murray's still a question mark. And that they're saying that it is up to the Team Canada doctors. It's not even up to Denver doctors on whether that happens. Of course, we see Lou Dort. We see all kinds of great people there. One of the things that happened at the practice is apparently they offered to allow people to come and watch if they're not on the team. Let me see right here. RJ Barrett said there was interest from guys that weren't part of the summer core, but they opted to stick with the players that made the initial 3-year commitment. He's open to other guys playing in the future and invited them to attend camp as spectators. Leonard Miller took them up on it. So Leonard Miller was actually at OVO Center, not officially on Team Canada, but he's there to show interest in being there and observing and possibly being considered in the future. I saw a highlight of Zach Edey in the middle of the lane, putting a real easy layup in. I saw some really cool stuff in the training practice highlights from OVO Center yesterday. Now, Chris Boucher was also at OVO Center yesterday, but he was working out as a Raptor in that arena. In that building. And I don't think he was actually there like Leonard Miller observing, but maybe he was. Maybe he was kind of around just in case. And seriously, Rowan Barrett, stop having a blind spot to Trey Boucher. Slim Doug, it would be an excellent addition to Team Canada, and we'd like to see that in the very near future in the next couple years. So please very strongly consider adding Chris Boucher. If we make the Olympics next year, I would love to see him get on that Olympic team. He's a very valuable guy to have on a team, trust me. And the fact that he hasn't been considered for Team Canada, it makes me kind of mad, honestly. It makes me kind of mad. So, very, very cool stuff. Stuff is starting to happen for August. We got FIBA, and they had the very first Rico Hines runs yesterday or Monday, and they had it come out for the tape footage yesterday. Well, I'll tell you what, right now, no Raptors were at Rico Hines runs. In fact, I'm going to tell you right now, barely anybody was at those runs as far as who matters in the NBA. There were maybe 3 NBA players that mattered, and they were Thomas Bryant, who, of course, just won the NBA championship with the Denver Nuggets and has now been moved to the Miami Heat already. Remember, last year he was at the Rico Hines runs, and he was very much prominently running with the Raptors, but at that time he was on the Lakers. So what's a whirlwind kind of year for Thomas Bryant, who was a Laker at the beginning of the year last year, became a Nugget, won a championship, and now he's a Miami Heat player. He may have been the most important player at Rico Hines runs on the first day. The rest of them, who cares? KJ Martin, maybe the second most important player, Kenyon Martin Jr., and then Ben McLemore. If you're getting down to the getting the tags, like Macklemore, you don't have very good talent at Rico Hines runs right now. This ain't no Raptors showing up en masse and just running things. And in fact, the highlight clips, the first Rico Hines highlights clips, are not that interesting or entertaining because in some ways they're not very high pace. The talent caliber is not up there. Definitely nothing like what we were watching last year with our guys there. So I have a feeling that we're not going to be there this year. I'm not sure if Pascal's going to be there. There's indications that Siakam's very happy in Salzburg, just working out with Red Bull in Austria right now, and that they're not going to be involved at Rico Hines this year. I have a feeling this may be true. Maybe they said to them this summer, they said, do everything the opposite of what you did last summer, Raptors. Don't go to Rico Hines. Don't hang out on Twitch all day. Just do whatever you did last year. Just don't do it. We know what you did last summer, Scotty. Don't do what you did last summer. Just do something completely different. So don't go to Rico Hines. Don't get on Twitch every other day either. And I think that may be part of the reason why. I was like, well, did Rico Hines runs help us last year? Some would say yes, but some would say, I don't know if it did. So maybe they're just not going to go. I don't know. Nobody was there. That's just how it was. All right, let me check in with y'all's comments this morning. Good to see everybody. Super fan Monique Lawrence is first in today. Good to see you, Monique. Always keeping us up to date. Cutting, breaking news. Monique Lawrence is your person. She is always dropping information and knowledge on us on our Facebook chat, in our group on Facebook, the Raptor Freak Facebook group. And I appreciate you, Monique, for what you bring us all the time. Good morning, everyone. 2 months away. I'm pretty happy with everything that went down yesterday. Let's go, Jordy, Team Canada practice. Pascal and Dennis videos, and Chris working. Everyone locked in. That's what we like to hear. That's right. These guys are working hard. We had some a new drop on YouTube by Dennis Schroeder yesterday. He was paddle boating with his family. Very fun. They were arguing over whether there's motorized paddle boats or paddle boats or not. I think this is pretty funny. Ellen Schroeder very much taking a stand about motorized paddle boats. And their friend Louis, I think his name was Louis or something. He's like, no, there's no motorized paddle boats. Why wouldn't they have all of them be motorized? And it was like, well, it's a cost thing also. But yeah, you could easily slip a motor in that thing, Louis, and make it a motorized paddle boat. I don't understand that. Like, they're arguing about a paddle boat, and she's getting bent out of shape about it. And Dennis is like, just Google it. Let's look it up. And of course she's right, and this guy's an idiot, and he's just kind of being stubborn. He's like, they don't have motorized paddle boats. Well, that's Dennis Schroeder's content right there. Y'all could be watching that, y'all, seriously. In German, it's like a German art film. A family goes on a paddle boat and they argue about whether there's motorized paddle boats. I think that's kind of cool, actually. They also showed a really cool event in Germany, a skate park Germany event, where they were having a skating competition, an exhibition, and Dennis actually sponsored one of the competitors, this guy named Christoph. And he's like, yeah, we got to have him win. And they're showing the highlights of him doing the kick flips and all that kind of stuff. And, Dennis is like, this guy's going to win, but he's got to beat these guys. And it's pretty cool. And his brother was there, his older brother, Dennis's older brother. And they're both skateboarders from when they were younger. And the older brother was doing a couple tricks too. We could see Dennis's older brother doing some tricks. But it was his guy won. His guy did win, Chris. And I was like, Dennis, you got to give him a new hat, because he was wearing a Lakers hat. And I'm like, Dennis, man, you're not on the Lakers anymore. You got to get your dude a Raptors hat. So when he's winning German skateboard competitions, you need to get him to be wearing that Raptors red hat instead of that old Lakers purple and gold. Yeah, update this man. Get him some new swag, because you represent the Raptors now, baby. That's right. That's right. Yeah. Woo. All right. Isaac Campbell saying like and subscribe. Thank you, Isaac. Good to see the benevolent Isaac Campbell rejoining us once again. We missed you yesterday on trivia. Yeah, Iceman taking a little lead on you in the trivia at this point. Well, I want a good competitive season, y'all. So keep it going. Good stuff. Monique is also saying, hello, Rico Runs. Scotty enjoying Jamaica, all as well. Yeah, Scotty in Jamaica, getting tons of birthday wishes all over the place from all kinds of different people, putting them on blast. You know what? Let's go do the Instagram check right now, because that's where a lot of this stuff is. First, we'll start with Slim Duck, Chris Boucher. He's getting a 25 jersey, and he's putting Scotty's picture when he was a little kid with the diploma and the hat when he's really, really cute. He said, "Happy birthday, my dog, real one," at your boy Scotty. Chris Boucher celebrating Scotty Barnes' birthday yesterday. Also showing himself in the gym at OVO. Listen, man, you got to be on that team. And it's like that's his friend Ibrahim also that's in that picture. And then Chris at the one of the regular season Scarborough Shooting Stars games last night. They finished the regular season of the CBL, and they're going to be doing the playoffs soon. And Chris was out at Scarborough, taking in the last game at the front row. So once again, showing strong support for the Canadian Elite Basketball League. Chris Boucher's probably been to like a half dozen CEBL games since the NBA season ended in Montreal and Toronto. So he's really being supportive of basketball in Canada. So why can't we support him and put him on Team Canada? Rowan Barrett, please put him on Team Canada. Jeez. All right. DeMar DeRozan went to his high school reunion, guys. Compton High School class of 2004. So he's at his 20-year high school reunion. DeMar, good stuff. Dubber Don, Delano Banton celebrating Scotty Barnes' birthday. More life, more cities, twin. Yeah, boy, Scotty. So good to see Dubber Don putting Scotty on blast. Ron Harper Jr. Has got new shorts. Pascal has a new clip that just came out, and he's going to play soccer. He got a 10-day contract for him to play soccer. He's saying, you ain't never seen me play before. It's showing a really good highlight clips of him really quickly moving around, doing shots with his brother Christian. And then he's in Italy at one point, eating pizza. So he is a really cool, classy little clip. He's very loose and happy-go-lucky, having a lot of fun. And then it's also showing the cool jet-setting lifestyle of being in Europe, that you could just take off from Austria and go get pizza in Italy all of a sudden. So I love seeing Pascal living the European lifestyle right now and just enjoying himself in another continent, doing his own thing. He is definitely not at Rico Hines runs. That's very interesting. Thad Young putting Thad Young Jr. on blast, doing a hoppy, jumpy. And they're doing a lot of training. Of course, work those kids, Thad Young, get them better. Dennis Schroeder has more putting on blast his swag. So go to that stuff store and check out his new items of clothing. Mr. New York City, very much active on Instagram, posting all kinds of stuff. He's back in New York. He's getting his hair cut. He's out on the street at the New York versus New York event at Rucker. So he was like a guest of honor, sitting at the sideline, taking in the basketball in a really cool shirt. His buddy was sitting next to him with the Raptors hat on. I love seeing that. So he's representing us now, y'all. Noel is a representative of the Raptors at this point. I love to see it. And he even posted Drake on there. And he even got us a picture of Kawhi making the shot against Philadelphia. And we see Chris Boucher behind him with his arm up high. And Jody Meeks and Patrick McCaw and Danny Green and OJ Anunoby all around him. And Joel Embiid all sad. Yeah, that picture. I love that Marquise is embracing the history of the Toronto Raptors and put it on blast on his Instagram. Yeah, he knows all about what our history is, and he wants to be a part of it and make some history himself in Raptors uniform. I love that, Marquise. You do it. You do it. You go get what you want, and you will get it, and you'll be happy. Yeah, Lloyd saying happy birthday to Scotty Barnes. Also, happy birthday, brother. Of course, he probably is with him. Precious, happy birthday, gang. Your boy Scotty. You know what time it is. Very, very good to see everybody giving Scotty birthday wishes. Christian Coloco, happy birthday, my boy, your boy Scotty. Yeah, I love this. These guys are all standing up and giving him good birthday wishes. There's more footage of Coloco working out, going to the basket, dunking it on them, going up high. Yeah, that's what you need to do, Christian. Just dunk it. Don't lay it up. They're going to foul you. You know you won't make it. Just throw it down. You know you'll make it then. All right. And then Scotty's getting birthday wishes from Nardo, from Jason, from Jay, from Brian Macon, from Justin Champagny, who Justin got waived by the Celtics yesterday, y'all. The Celtics did waive Justin Champagny from their team yesterday, y'all. I don't even know if he's going to be on another team. He may be done, y'all. But yeah, Scotty putting on blast. Precious wishing him a happy birthday. Chris wishing him a happy birthday. Just getting all these bad birthday wishes from different people. And then there's a cool picture of him in Jamaica having a great time. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Yeah, Scott, I hope you're living your best life and having a good time down on the island. Jalen Green also wishing him a happy birthday. So good stuff. There's your Instagram check. A lot of birthday wishes for Scotty on his birthday. Fantastic stuff. And great to see. Yeah, as I said, Justin Champagny getting waived yesterday by the Celtics. They broke up Justin and Delano already. They were supposed to be on the Celtics together this year. Well, Justin is not on the Celtics now as of yesterday. That's how it goes. Monique is saying, I'm glad no one asked Jordy stupid questions. Yeah, I didn't get to see the interview with Jordy Fernandez, but he's very excited to be. He's very like engaged with this Team Canada stuff already. He's hitting the ground running, and I love to see that. And this guy's such a dynamic leader. This is gonna be fun to see how quickly he can take over from Nick Nurse and get good success out of Team Canada. I have a lot of confidence in Jordy Fernandez. For some reason, there's just a vibe, just like kind of around the Raptors with Darko. There's a vibe around Team Canada with Jordy that's very, very cool. And the guys were so loose. SGA is so funny. Like he's talking to the press yesterday, and he's saying that I played with RJ a few times, RJ Barrett, but he has to be on this team because of his dad. That's what he said to the press yesterday, that he has no choice. He has to play for Team Canada because his dad is in charge of it, Rowan Barrett. So I think that's hilarious. And then they had a shooting competition between SGA and RJ, and SGA won, but it was very impressive. They were doing a little dribble step up inside the 3-shot and then step back and hit a 3. It was a 2-shot combo thing they had to keep hitting, and they hit them like 5 or 6 times between the two of them. And then finally RJ missed a shot and SGA won it. But they were very competitive. Some very fun highlights coming from OVOCenter yesterday of Team Canada at their first practice and getting serious about these games coming up against the teams at FIBA World Cup. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to enjoy the Team Canada stuff. That's why I'm wearing my Team Canada shirt, to support them. And let's go. Let's go, Canada. Let's go and get an Olympic berth in Asia this month. In August. Yeah, I'm all about it. Raymond Jacob is here. Good to see Raymond Jacob. Yeah, let's go. Let's freaking go, Raymond Jacob. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. How's Vince Carter bobblehead doing, Raymond? You find a good spot at your house to put that prize, that third place prize that you have at your house now. He dreamed that he would have the Vince Carter bobblehead, and it came true. Holy crap, the foresight that Raymond Jacob has. How did that happen? How did that happen? He didn't even win. He still got the bobblehead. Amazing stuff, Raymond. So happy to see you in the comments today. Cool Cat's here. Good to see Cool Cat. Good morning, Raptor Free crew. Team Canada were all smiles at practice. Yeah, the vibes are strong. And like they're very fun. And the people are saying this is the most talented Team Canada ever. And hopefully they got legs and they got the gumption and they got the ways to make it to the Olympics this month. This is going to be such a tough thing. There's a lot of different teams that are jockeying with different things going on. We hear that Jose Alvarado will not play for Puerto Rico because he's hurt. We hear that DeAndre Ayton will play for Bahamas because he wants to play for Bahamas. There's going to be different power rankings for these teams in the Americas, depending on who is available and who is hurt and who is going to be actually on the teams playing. And, Jamal Murray would really help us if he is able to play for us. Even if he's not playing heavy minutes and they use him in a limited role, he can be very helpful to us. So hopefully they can find balance. The working relationship between Jordy and Jamal from Denver Nuggets days when Jordy was there, maybe he has trust in Mr. Fernandez to utilize him in a way that won't be hurtful to him, but just enough. And he does get to participate and be very helpful to Canada in doing this. This is something big. I'm telling you, we're about to bust through with this. And in some ways, this will be very, very helpful for the sport in the country of Canada. The basketball, if it does very well on the Olympic level with our national team, it'll be a big deal. It'll be a very big deal because people will get very nationalistic and be very proud of their basketball team if they do very good things and accomplish things. So this can have an effect, just like a Vince Carter kind of thing. Young people will start saying, I want to grow up and play for Canada at the Olympics. That is a great, powerful thing. And these young men are the trailblazers for this new era of high-level Team Canada basketball. And I'm here for it. I am so here for it. I want to see what happens. Yes. Top of Top's here. Good morning. If Canada can make the Olympics, they'll medal. Where do they need to place to get an Olympic spot? Do you think the Raptors will fill that 21st roster spot before camp? With what position? All right, Top of Top, great questions, and I can answer them all. Now, as far as with the Olympics, They got to be one of two teams in the Americas to do the best in that tournament. Now, one of those two teams is the US. So we're already kind of penciling in the United States to take one of those two spots because obviously it's the US. And the US has a certain team and they're expected to get there and be one of those teams. So it's very limited. It's like the US and then us. And then, listen, we got to beat Puerto Rico. We got to beat Dominican. We got to beat Brazil. We got to beat big teams that are throughout South America, Central America, the islands, Bahamas, Puerto Rico, stuff like that, Dominican. So it's really where you finish in the FIBA World Cup. If we can get past our group and get into the next stage, that would be very good. But to get past our groups, we got to beat France first in our very first group. And then we got to beat Spain in the second one to get probably far enough to get further than all those other teams, the Americas. So that's the problem. We got a very bad draw, a very, very bad draw against two of the top programs in the world, France and Spain. And these other teams from the Americas may have easier groups and easier paths to get through it. So we got a tough battle. To be the man, we got to beat the man. And we got to beat France, who don't have Victor, thank God. He's not going to be playing there. And we got to beat Spain. So, the drama is high. The chance is there, but it's not going to be easy. Let's just put it that way. Now, we did fill out our 21st roster spot. We know the 21 players that will be at training camp for the Raptors. Mo Gee is the 21st person. And I have my spreadsheet already for you guys to look at it. I have adjusted it some more. There's actually an orange color on there to signify the exhibit 10s that Mo Gee and David O'Banner are on. And the 21 are now known. The 21 are now known. And I'll post that right now if you guys want to go look at it. Basically, we've got, I've switched them around a bit. I put Dennis on the second team. I put Scotty at starting point guard with Gary at shooting guard, OG Anunoby at small forward, Pascal at power forward, and Jakob at center. That's my starters at this point. I put off the bench Dennis Schroeder as a backup point guard, Grady Dick, backup shooting guard, Chris Boucher, Precious Achua, and Christian Koloko as the second team up front. And then I've got, like in yellow, I've got Malachi, Garrett Temple, Otto Porter, Jalen McDaniels, and Thad Young. Now, most of those guys will make the team, but I put them in yellow just because there's a little bit of a kind of like, there is a little bit of danger of being traded or waived in some cases with those guys. And then on the last part, I've got Marquise, Javon Freeman Liberty, and Ron Harper Jr. as the 3 two-ways. And then we got Jeff Doughton Jr., who is a partial guarantee. And he's the one that's kind of in the weirdest position at this point, honestly. We could easily say that Mohamed Gee and David O'Banner, the 2 exhibit 10s, will go the route of Gabe Brown last year, and they will just be in training camp practicing with the Raptors and getting preseason and stuff, but they will not make the team. They will be the very easy 2 of the 3 cuts because basically we have 21 men going into training camp. We only get to keep 18 for our roster, and that's 15 regular roster spots with 3 two-ways. And so basically we're going to have to cut 3 of these guys from the regular roster, and it should be the 2 exhibit 10s, Mo Gee and David O'Banner, plus 1 other person. So it's really going to be somebody is going to get the shaft from the Raptors, and they are not going to be on this team no matter what, and they're just going to be waived and gone. And that's what I'm saying. It could be anyone from the 3 two-ways, Jeff Doughton, to any of those old head guys with Malachi Flynn. Seriously. Like if Malachi comes in and he doesn't show certain things, I could see him telling him, I don't value Malachi as much as you guys did with Nick, and we don't need him. And he may be the guy that's out and everybody else is still in. So in some ways, it is kind of a battle for Jeff Doughton Jr. In some ways, he's the odd man out because he has the partial guarantee. Everybody else is more guaranteed. But this is the thing. He could do so well that he gets one of the spots and they waive one of these other guys. Like it could very well be that they waive Garrett Temple, guys. It could be that they cut the 2 exhibit 10s and they waive Garrett Temple and they keep Jeff Doughton Jr. and everybody else. And Garrett Temple is really just coming in to get a paid, for sure, amount of money for the year. But he may come in just as a mentor during the training camp at time and kind of show an example just for a little bit before the season. And that may be enough of his leadership to say, well, look how Garrett was when he came in here. It's a good example. And maybe they don't need him for the whole season. Maybe they just have him come in for a little bit in the beginning. I don't know. This is a really weird situation, but I think that it should be given the spots on merit. And whoever plays the best in training camp, who has the best, if somebody's playing like shit, they should just get cut, is what I'm saying right now. Seriously. So it's going to be very interesting to see. I don't think that anybody on that third team that I named or the fourth team is absolutely safe. And the other thing that can be happening too that people don't talk about is, Gee could do so well that he gets converted to a two-way, and they bump one of the other guys like Ron Harper Jr. or Javon Freeman Liberty. So I could see that happening too. Like these two ways aren't set in stone. They can get taken away like that, and they can be switched for a different person to be in the two-way. But for right now, the two ways are Marquise Noel, Javon Freeman Liberty, and Ron Harper Jr. But they could change. They could change. Not that Jeff Dowtin Jr. could get one of those two ways, though. He basically has to make this team by them cutting either Malachi or Garrett or Jalen McDaniels or Otto or Thad. And the other way that this could happen is that there's a trade. If there's a trade and it's not totally balanced, like we get less players back, well, then obviously things are easier and we don't have to cut someone. So that's kind of the different scenarios and where we're at with things. We have our 21 names top, and Mo Gee is the last name. And that's if you want to look at my spreadsheet, I put the link in the chat. Good to see Iceman like Gervin this morning. Let's see. Excuse me. Excuse me. Cool Cat saying the first day of Rico runs were lots of new guys. Rico said the usual guys will come in later on. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see that, James Harden, I'm sure, will show up. Maybe Pascal will show up at some point. But yeah, not a very interesting first one. They came in with full steam last year. Like right away, those Raptors were there right away. So this is a very different feel. It seems like very much a drop off. It just seems like that. Like the talent wasn't as good there. And honestly, when I watched that half hour of Rico runs last night, I was like, I'm bored. I know it's partly because there's no Raptors involved, but in some ways, the highlights they weren't like Rico Hines runs highlights from years past. There's kind of like, okay, I could be watching any runs right now. In fact, I enjoyed watching the stuff that Scotty was doing in Miami at that Remy workout more than the Rico Hines workout. That tape was more interesting with the King's Court with him and Marvin Bagley and Andre Drummond. Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Rico has that prestige and that name to it, but in some ways, those runs were not like, they were like, why am I watching this? This is a whole half hour of just watching Thomas Bryant make layups. Okay, that's great. I can see KJ Martin is really burning it up, sweating a lot. Okay. But like, seriously, where were the cool highlights? Where were the dunks? Where was the kind of the cool stuff? It was just really kind of boring, to tell you the truth. Let's see. Iceman is saying Masai will be sending the team to Rico runs. Players love to hang out in LA during the offseason. This will be interesting. I don't know. I mean, honestly, we got to think about it this way also. When Rico stepped out there to do his little before the runs week, he's talking about how they honor this court. You don't honor it, you may not be asked to come back, that kind of stuff. And it made me realize this guy's a one and done, just like Kawhi. This guy, just like Bismack Biyombo, he's a one and done. He was a Raptor for 1 year and then he wasn't anymore. And that's kind of weird to me. Because that last year was like the prestige of having Rico Hines as one of our assistant coaches was a big deal. Well, it was such a short little term. And now he's a coach under Nick in Philadelphia. And in some ways, I don't want our guys to go there just partly because of that. I know Rico's great and he has that personal connection with Pascal and he's going to continue to still have that. But in some ways, this is kind of a weird situation at this point where I don't really want the Raptors team to go to Rico Hines this year. I think they could go do other things and they could work out together in other places. They don't necessarily have to be at Rico Hines runs. And to me, in some ways, it was great and was really fun to watch them play last year. But did we see really good things come from that Rico Hines run stuff last year in reality in the NBA? Maybe a little bit at the beginning of the season, but it didn't sustain us for the whole season. That's for sure. So maybe it shouldn't be as valued as we think. But, you may be right. Maybe a bunch of them will show up, but I don't know. I would have thought that maybe a couple of them would have been there the first day, but they weren't. Wayne's here. Good to see Wayne Strainer. Lex, if Scotty is truly in Jamaica, that's great. Nothing like bringing you down to earth like being on the rock. Jam Rock. I hope it's true. Yeah, he is in Jamaica. And he's there with his buddies. So he's basically, I'll bet you he's doing like a birthday trip where he's celebrating his birthday with all of his best friends. And they're all there just hanging out and having a goofy time, I'm sure. Him and Lloyd, very much seeing him with Lloyd a lot this week. And I think Nardo and some of those other guys are down there with them too. So Scotty's having a guys trip with his dudes in Jamaica right now, and that's fantastic. I hope that they have a lot of fun, and just good times. And yeah, this will hopefully get him good recharging and make him feel good. And who knows, maybe he's even working out while he's down there at the same time. But either way, Scott looks good this summer so far. The highlights I've seen of him and the way he's moving, he's showing improvement in different things as far as energy and how smooth he is with his shot. And that's what we want to see. He's going to make progress and build on his NBA career and going into his third year as an NBA pro. So yeah, it's really good. He's getting recharging down there. It's a birthday trip, I'm sure, because he's with his dudes. Randolph Phillips is here. Good beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Good morning. This day was not guaranteed, but there we are. Here we are. Go ahead and make your mark. I will start by pronouncing blessings on you and yours. Wow. Wow. In some ways, I feel like Randolph Phillips is like a deacon. It's like somebody just coming in, or like somebody who's just a great speaker, orator. And like, I feel like, yeah, I really do feel like this is a ritual, what we do, Randolph, here. And I appreciate the blessings. I want to bless everybody and send blessings out from this channel that is listening to me right now. And just even if you're not listening to me, just everybody out there, I'm putting out blessings to the whole entire world. We need the world to be a better place. And as Randolph said, not every day is given. And you don't know how things can change very quickly in different ways. So yes, take stock in what you are feeling blessed and gratitude for, because that's the best way to be happy, is to understand what you have to be grateful for. And thank you, Randolph, for grounding us with this once again. Fiercey's here. Always good to see Fiercey Salsera, Scotty Barnes, Twitch family, 2022, baby. Let's go. Good morning, family, and happy Wednesday. Not going to lie, the Rico runs hit different without any Raptors participating. Only watched 6 minutes. See, Fiercey going through it too as me. I was like, okay, let's watch some Rico Hines runs. Put it on. Who's playing? Do I know anybody? Okay, who's that? Oh, there's Thomas Bryant. Yeah, Thomas Bryant. He's good. I like Thomas Bryant. I like Thomas Bryant. If he'd be a Raptor one day, I wouldn't be upset. KJ Martin. Okay, yeah. Who else is there? Okay. Yeah, I don't know any of these guys. It's like Fiercey's the same thing. It just doesn't hit the same way when we don't have Raptors there. It's just the damn truth. And Fiercey's right. I'll bet you that would be interesting to hear, like, general NBA fan. Like, how do you feel about the new Rico Hines runs clip from yesterday? Did you feel like it was up to snuff with the quality of what Rico Hines usually does and the highlights that we see and the caliber of players that are there? I mean, we're used to seeing James Harden, Steph Curry, people like that. Where are these guys? Nope. You're going to get Thomas Bryant, NBA champion Thomas Bryant. Hey, it's not, I mean, it could be worse. Cool Cat saying, I love that Pascal is in Vienna, removed from the NBA chatter. Smart move by his agent and sponsor Red Bull. Put him in an environment that's all about him so he can focus on improving. Yeah, it's really, really good stuff. And I mean, really, seriously, the vibes on his content right now really come through that he's feeling good. He's feeling confident. He's feeling optimistic about the new Raptors going into the season. And he's just doing what he can take care of. And that's working on himself and getting better and better and putting in that work. I mean, this man's a maniac, obviously. He's like, what are you doing at 7:30 in the morning? Are you playing piano with your life? Or why are you playing piano with your life? Iceman saying the Raps may not be done dealing, but the Athletics at Eric Koreen examines how the rotation might shake out if the roster remains as is. He doesn't see Grady Dick as a member of a 9-man rotation. Yeah, I could get behind that. I put him down lower in the third team for the Raptors, partly because he's inexperienced. And in some ways, he's got to get more of an NBA body before we can really make him durable and put a lot of minutes on him. He's got to build himself up. He's got to get a little taste of how the competition is and understand, maybe in short bursts without getting too tired, you can play at that level. But playing a long, sustained periods of time on the court may be tough for Grady right away. And he's got to build up his endurance. He's got to build up his body. And he's got to adjust to the bigger, faster NBA. And he'll see how it is. And it's, once again, this is the thing. These young players that come in, we can't just throw them in the deep end. You got to really take care of them in certain ways so that they don't mess up their confidence And also, you don't want to put them in situations that they will fail in for sure. So you really got to be smart about how you start a player in their NBA career and really start to develop them and get them going. And this is part of the thing that's got to be tempered and weighed with being too quick with using him. Is like, yeah, use him correctly in a way that be effective to help the team to win in short little periods and stuff. If we need a guy, all right, I can see this. I can see Grady being used in spot situations where we need an extra shooter out there to space the floor for some reason. And he may not get the ball a lot. He may end up being a decoy a lot of times at those times. But that could be one of the effective ways he could use him right away, where he doesn't have to be dependent on to do too much. Use him as a good shooting decoy. Now he's going to have to make some of those shots first for people to start respecting him, but he probably will very quickly. And that could be very helpful in that kind of way. So we'll have to see. I think Eric Kareem's probably right, Iceman. I don't expect Grady to be full-time rotation right away. I expect him to go to 905 and try and star on that team and then get spot duty here and there, maybe once every 5 or 6 games for the Raptors. He probably plays for them, but not all the time. Not all the time. I think he's probably pretty accurate. Monique's saying the good thing about yesterday's practice team, Canada, you can hear them mic'd up. That's cool. So they got them mic'd up so you can hear SGA barking orders and talking on the court, and they're having fun. There's a bit of trash talking. Yeah, cool stuff. Cool stuff. Team Canada looks strong. They look happy. They look like they're having fun together. This is what we want. They come in there with a ball of lightning and kick some ass. If I honestly look at Team Canada and Team USA, I could say we're very comparable. I don't think that some of the guys on Team USA are the best. I mean, they're young players and they're good, but they're not like it's LeBron, Kevin Durant, the very, very top US players. In some ways, it really isn't that. And in some ways, it is the top Canadian players other than Wiggins. And that's kind of interesting. So I don't know. In some ways, we have more talent on Team Canada than US in some ways. Those guys are interesting, the Team USA, but in some ways they're kind of boring. But in Team Canada, I mean, seriously, SGA and Jamal Murray are better than any of the players on Team Canada, Team USA. They are. They're better than any of them. That's just the damn truth. Jamal Murray and SGA are better than any of the players on Team USA. That's just the damn truth. Let's see. Dana's here. Good to see Canadian Dana. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to I Am Canadian. Yes. Dana. I'm so Canadian. I'm as Canadian as SGA shoes. That's right. We're very Canadian here. Wayne's saying, I forgot that Scotty has Jamaican roots. So it's not really surprising then. It's just the first week of Rico runs. Show the runs some love, Lex. Remember, we were a 500 team till October and November. Yeah, I mean, all right, listen. I mean, Fiercey and I had the same reaction. Okay, this is lame. And so that's all. And that's fine. I'm sure it'll get more entertaining as other people show up. But the first one's a dud. Let's just be honest here. In some ways, what I'm doing is criticizing and being, somebody who's reacting to things. I'm not necessarily criticizing. Sometimes I'm showing a lot of love, but that's part of what I do. I react to stuff, and I'm reacting realistically to how I felt about watching the Rico Hines runs yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, meh. It's just my honest reaction. There's nothing wrong with that. Rico's he's got the prestige. It's going to turn out to be a success by the end of it, I'm sure. But it's getting off to a slow start. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, Scotty's Jamaican. He has Jamaican family, and so he's very much in the home country in some ways. He didn't always go to Jamaica on these trips. We saw him in Dominican at times. We've seen him in Cancun in Mexico. So this may be the first time he's gone with those guys to Jamaica for the first time. I think they went to Dominican last time. They've already gone on a trip this summer. They went to Dominican after the season ended right away. So this is good. In some ways, I really like that Scotty's all over the place, doing all kinds of stuff instead of just being at home here in Toronto and going every other day on Twitch. That's good. That's a good thing that he's not doing that stuff. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Anako is saying, here's hoping Justin wins in the G League. There's no guarantees Justin's going to be anywhere. You're talking about Champagne, right? Yeah, he may be out of the league at this point, Nako. You got to understand, this league is cold and heartless, and it will cut you out like that. And if you mess around and start sunning people too much, that's what I said last summer. You mess around too much, you'll be out of the league quick, Justin Champagne. And well, it looks like that. In some ways, it happened on Scotty's birthday. One of his best friends got cut from his team and may not be in the NBA anymore. That's sad. And this right around Scotty's birthday last year, where he got, these things happen, that people get cut. Well, Justin's cut from the Celtics, and there's no guarantees anybody else is going to pick him up. So who knows, Nako? He may not be on a G League team. He may be. He may go overseas. I don't know. But fuck around, you find out. You got to be cool. You got to be a good pro, and you can't be bullying people. That was a bad move by him. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptors freaks. Good morning to you, Stargate. Great job getting that question yesterday. Jimmy Pope's here. Good to see the Pope of Positivity. Go Canada. That's right. Go Canada to Jakarta and win some games. Make the Olympics and we'll all get so loud and insane. Da, 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 da. Yes, the Weird Al in me is strong. Yes. All right. Iceman saying, Rico's runs helped the Raptors last season, but the culture took a nosedive with individual agendas taking precedent over the team and sabotaging the season from within. Okay, I think that's a fair assessment. It definitely gave us a lot of inertia a lot of momentum going into the season. We had a lot of momentum going in the season because of the great vibes. And like everybody's saying, the Raptors are going to be so good this year because look at them on Rico Hines runs. It was almost like we were putting it all on blast. In some ways, we didn't need to do that. That may have been the problem, that our workout sessions were so on public blast that everybody could watch them. The scouts from the Sixers, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Nets, all of them could watch what the Raptors were doing. Oh, look what the Raptors are doing there. Maybe we need to be more private. Maybe we did need to put every single clip of the Rico Hines runs and the Raptors run around last year on blast. Maybe we just don't need to see that stuff. It needs to be proprietary and hidden away from the eyes of the other scouts. Yeah, maybe that was part of it too. Maybe we didn't need to be putting it all on a display like that. I don't know. I think this is accurate why we came apart. Individual agendas. Yeah, I get that. Evelyn's saying, let's go Canada. That's right, Granny Evelyn. A good, strong, very recent Canadian. That's right. Granny Evelyn is a Canadian. She is Canadian. Yes, Evelyn. Yes, we're proud of you. Proud Canadian. Granny Evelyn. That's right. Stargate saying, I like the Canada team. However, I believe they lack size. Yeah. In some ways, the size they have is older. It's Kelly Olynyk. Kelly Olynyk. And then you got Zach Edey. You got Dwight Powell. But that's really like those are the main guys that are really the big guys. And then, you can count the scrubs a bit at the end of the bench. They're kind of big. But otherwise, it's very guard forward oriented. Very much. A lot of 2s and 3s on this team. And, I don't hate that. In some ways, some of the best scorers in Canada are those positions. So it makes sense. But that's why I would say, why don't you just go in the other room and ask Chris to join you? That's what I'm saying. If Chris is there working out already, Chris Boucher is Canadian, y'all. Go and say, hey, Chris, would you like to come and practice with us real quick? And then boom, all of a sudden you get a lanky, long Dennis Rodman 2023 playing guy on your team because you want the kind of role player that rebounds and plays really active like Chris Boucher does. I think that he would be a very good addition right away. And I'm with Stargate on this. Why don't they put him on that team? Why isn't Chris on Team Canada? I'll keep saying it until it happens. Monique is saying the mantra for Jordy is let's get greedy. Well, very interesting. Most cases I would say Gordon Gekko is not right. But in this case, if Jordy's going to use this to motivate Team Canada to get to the Olympics, greed is good. Yes, greed is good. Go ahead, Jordy. Tell them to get greedy. SGA and all them. In some ways, SGA is just not a greedy person. He's a very, very caring and loving teammate on the court. He's one of the best at this. And, I like him to be a little more greedy and go for shots and just score a lot too. But there's a balance with him. That's what you want with Shea. You want him to balance between him and going to score and setting up everybody else. And he does a pretty good job at it. But we'll see how greedy he can be. Isaac's saying we need Chris Boucher. Of course. It would be très magnifique to have Chris Boucher on Team Canada. Let's start a petition. All right. Let's do this. Seriously, Isaac. You make that petition. I will sign it. And David Saborin will sign it 5 times. That's right. Thank you, Isaac. Long overdue. Let's say David Saborin will sign it. David Saborin. David Saborin. Dave S. He'll sign it every which way just to get extra signatures on there. I'm sure he would. Fiercely saying Earl Watson also not on the run, given his pep talk. He may come later at some point. We know those guys are tight. There's nothing messed up between Earl Watson and Rico Hines. but Earl maybe with the family, maybe doing other summer things, and then he'll show up. We saw Baron Davis there, and then the regular kind of guys that run the thing, like the guy who tells who's on which team. But that is basically it. This is the normal UCLA Rico Hines runs, just starting up this week. We'll see who shows up in the weeks to come. I think they go like 3 or 4 weeks, so there is a lot of time. We'll have to see who shows up. Let's see. Iceman saying NBA teams can designate up to 4 players that they cut during training camp as affiliate players, meaning those players will join the team's NBA G League affiliate. Don't sleep on Malachi Flynn. Do you think that they could make him an affiliate player and make him a G League player all of a sudden after this at this point? I mean, that would be crazy and weird. I get this, and this is already what Mogi and David O'Banner are. They're affiliate players, and will definitely be on 905 if they get cut. Now, if we, sometimes it's about where the guy is in his career. If he's after 4 years in his career, then I don't think they can go to G League. That's part of the rules. I'm not totally sure on that, but who knows? We'll have to see how it all works out. And if there's another affiliate player other than O'Banner and Mogi, well, that'd be good. Who knows? And you're saying don't sleep on Malachi. Well, I just want to see him break through. And at some point, I just feel like the spinning wheels of Malachi Flynn's career, well, at some point, we just can't make excuses anymore like Nick Nursery and stuff like that. And this is now the time. If he really wants to make an impression and show what he's learned in his first few years in the NBA, he needs to do it now and make sure they really understand who he is and value him. Because in some ways, I don't see why we need him at this point unless he's going to do some good stuff and really show progress and blow up. Because at this point, it's like, man, we've been waiting. It's every season, summer. I'm like, I don't care if they get rid of Malachi. I really don't. It's been that way for two or three seasons in off season at this point. It's like, yeah, if he leaves or we cut him, I wouldn't be surprised and it wouldn't bother me. Is basically how I felt about this. Because in some ways, I'm just like, what is this guy doing? And in some ways, with Dennis Schroeder showing up and Marquise Noel, I'm kind of like, this is getting even more tougher. I value Jeff Doughton Jr. more than Malachi in some ways. I really, really do. Because in some ways, Jeffrey Doughton Jr. is more dependable than Malachi is. And it's a sticky situation. Malachi's an enigma. And I don't totally understand what he is and who he could be. Of course, a couple of weeks ago, I was touting him as he's the incumbent. He should be the guy who gets the first chance to be the starting point guard of the Raptors. But in some ways, also, I'm like, well, he could also be cut, and it wouldn't bother me either. They could cut him and waive him and pay him the money. He can stay home, and we'll just use the roster spot for somebody else. So we'll see. Stargate saying, Iceman, I agree. A lot of players came into last season with individual personal agendas. At least 3 publicly stated those agendas, 2 of which are currently still on the roster. Public agendas are not totally a horrible thing. And, I understand people were saying people were being selfish, and it definitely manifested on the court as far as not sharing the ball enough between each other. But I don't totally understand or think that it was like necessarily this was absolutely what did us in. Not connecting is probably more of the way to describe it than just really being selfish about what your goals are for the year. But maybe that comes from that. I don't know. The chemistry and not connecting on the court was the biggest problem with the team. Now, was that just a symptom of the selfishness? Maybe. But in some ways, it's good for these guys to have these goals. Like Siakam saying, I want to be a top 10 player in the league. Scotty saying, I want to be defensive player of the year. This stuff is good. The contract stuff could be dangerous. Sure. Gary playing in a contract year, trying to be a little bit more selfish to set up his extension or his next deal. Fred, the same thing. That I worry about more than like people being selfish as far as wanting to win awards or to get like accolades. That I don't mind because they should be shooting for that kind of stuff. It's like right now, Anthony Edwards is saying, I want to get Rudy Gobert Defensive Player of the Year, and I want Kat to be one of the leaders in the league in three-point shooting and stuff like that. He's already orienting his mind to setting up his 2 big teammates for a really big year. And he's being a selfless guy. He's saying, I want to help these guys get their awards. And that's the kind of teammate you want. It's like if Scotty could get out there and say, I want to help OG become the Defensive Player of the Year, that'd be awesome. And I'm sure he does maybe want that if he doesn't want it for himself. But that's what I'm saying. There's a selflessness to wanting things for your teammates. And maybe that's what some of our guys need to do. Forget about yourself and start saying, you know what, Siakam, I want to help you get to be like one of the top 5 scorers in this league. I want to see you in the top 5 of the top 5 scorers at the top of the league. It could be that kind of shit. That could be the way for Scott to get to success, is for going for success for his teammates around him. And that could make him look even better. In some ways, that's what Magic did. Magic made all the guys around him on the Lakers better. And that was why he was so great. In some ways, that's the best template to go by. Jokic, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan. These guys all tried to make everybody around them better, and at their own detriment sometimes. And they didn't even care. They became great, and they were just known as being these selfless, amazing team players. And that's what the template that Scott should be trying to duplicate. It shouldn't be some sort of like, I'm an egotistical, I want to score everything and do everything myself kind of guy. He should really be working with everybody and trying to get successful stuff for his teammates. And then he'll look good, like Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is impressing me more and more every day. The fact that he said that stuff in the last couple of days, really, like, he's just winning. He's a winner. I love that kid in some ways. He's really the right kind of like attitude for a young person in the league. Anthony Edwards, that's the dude right there. All right, let's keep going with the comments to see what else you guys are saying today. All right, Denal saying, I'm late. Good morning. Did we talk about Justin getting waived? Curious, what's up with that? Celtics are just stocked. Maybe they had to make a cut. They didn't see keeping him around. That's what it is, I guess. It is what it is. Business decision. It's a business league. They make business decisions, and he didn't have a spot. Maybe his spot got taken by his buddy Delano. Delano got his spot, and now he's gone. Who knows? Iceman saying 2023 Canada Basketball Nationals, 15 and under and 17 and under boys and girls taking place right now. Go Team BC. All the games are on YouTube for free. That is awesome. That is very, very cool. Yeah, definitely check out the underage basketball stuff that's going on. There's some good stuff going on there. And then also, listen, I don't know if people know this, but you can watch a lot of the runs and things going on. Like the ones that happened with Scotty in Miami at Miami Pro League last week, were actually broadcast on the NBA app. The NBA app. If you have the NBA app, you can go and watch a lot of these league games right now. I think you can even do it for free if you just get the NBA app on your phone. You can watch a lot of these runs, like the one Scotty was in at Miami Pro League last week. The crossover, they're all for free on the NBA app. Just a little tip. Let's see. Monique saying the man who shouldn't be named did an interview with Darko. I didn't listen to him though. What? Okay, and David's saying it wasn't him. It was another Serbian guy who's he's friends with. Okay, so he's stealing a page out of my book. I think that we deal with Darko for real. I don't know. Darko comes in here and chats with us in the chat or not. He saw us doing that. And he's like, maybe I'll have my weird Serbian friend act like he's Darko on the phone or something and do this kind of thing. So you know what? In some ways, I think this guy's ripping me off. He's getting ideas from me. He's like, okay, all right, I'll get on the phone and act like I talked to somebody on the phone. I'll talk to Darko in the chat. Okay, all right, see what's going on here. It's not like I copyrighted anything. Hey, imitation is a sincere form of flattery. So, hey, whatever. Monique saying, gotcha, David. Yeah, so David's saying this is not Darko he's talking to. Yeah, I'd be very shocked if Darko would go and sewer himself around that channel. Seriously, he knows where the good, positive Raptor fans are. And he knows where the negative ninnies and weirdos are over there. So that's what's that. Let's see. David's saying, who got waived? Nobody got waived. We can have 21 players right now. Justin got waived. Justin Champagnie got waived from the Celtics. That's what happened. Yeah. Trevor J saying, good morning, Raptors family. I'm deleting today because I'm traveling. I will check back in tomorrow. Okay, well, travel safe, Trevor J, and we'll look for your words of wisdom on another day. You know what? In some ways, you just gave us words of wisdom. If you're busy traveling, do not try and text. If you're in the car, don't try and punch in this stuff, because that's dangerous. So there's your Trevor J words of wisdom. If you're traveling, you do not have time for messaging. You should just put the phone down and drive. How about that? Yeah, good stuff, Trevor J. Great words of wisdom, even if you didn't intend it this morning. You got them. David Justin Champagnie is who got waived. Fiercey. Yes. Thank you, Fiercey. Wayne saying, I am a hypocrite, Lex. I didn't watch much of Rico runs last season. Judging from the Women's World Cup with so many upsets, Canada, with all the talent we possess, we're taking Spain and France down. Now, they're different levels, Wayne. It's like we've got different flower bed or different beds growing in the backyard, garden beds. And, they're different, the age crops and the different female and male teams. So you got the under 16 males and the under 16 females, and you got the under 18 males, the under 18 females, and each of those beds has different grow rates and different like premium goodness to them. And apparently that one team with Toby Fournier is very, very good, that women's team in that age group. And that is a very bumper crop. And that's what we're kind of looking at is like the different crops of Canadian basketball talent on the different teams coming up. Well, they're the waves of the good talent coming through and coming up. And some of them will be better than others. Now, we're kind of on the tip of the big tsunami of wave of Canadian talent in basketball. So it's just beginning. It's kind of like this SGA team, Jamal Murray team that's at OVOCenter. It's like the very tip of the big wave just trying to come in. And this could get swell up higher and just and come down on international basketball competition. Canada will be a force. So I'm all about the different garden beds of talent and the different age groups for the different teams, the men's and the women's, coming up and taking the rightful place around the world as one of the best basketball powers in the world. Canada, the man invented the game, James T. Naismith, was Canadian. We are Canadian, and we will take our game back because we invented it, and we will be the best once again. Yes, yes. Woo, yeah. All right, let's keep going. All right, let's see. David's saying he got waived by Boston. Yeah, he got waived by Boston. Justin Champagne, waived by Boston. Just going back to Wayne real quick. Now, if we're going to take down Spain and France, I would love this. This would really be like, this will signify, like right away, Wayne, our first game in Jakarta is against France. Our very first competitive game in this World Cup is us against France. So we can make a statement right on when we hit the ground running in Indonesia. We can make a statement. We beat France in the first game right away. That will set the tone right there, baby. So Jordi Fernandez and crew, you get over there to Jakarta and beat France in the first game. Beat them down, real down. Like Evan Fournier or whoever the fuck shows up for France. Just beat their asses. And that will send a statement right away. So yeah, we'll get France first. And hopefully we kick their ass so well. And then we beat Lebanon and Latvia. And boom, all of a sudden we're through our group. And we're playing Spain in the next part. And we beat Spain's ass. Ooh, we probably can get in the Olympics if we can do that. It's a tall order. And it is definitely just like Ric Flair used to say, to be the man, you got to beat the man. So we're going to have to beat France and Spain. And then possibly the U.S. at some point. That would be very fun. Canada-U.S. final World Cup. Ooh, bring it, USA. Canada is ready to play. Let's go. Woo, I am hyped about this. Yes, I am. Let's see. Isaac saying, I heard it was just Nameless dressed up. You talking about who appeared on the He Who Shall Not Be Named show? That he just like, he's doing a little bit of his Italian instead of it's making it sound like it's Serbian. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Infamous is saying, salute, freaks. I was checking out G's highlights and I see the potential you were talking about. His defense is next level. Guy, you're talking about Mohamedou Guy. Yeah. He looks a lot like Chris Boucher. He's got like those dreads. He's a skinny guy. He's not as tall as Chris, but he has a couple of things that Chris doesn't have as good. And that's the three-point shot looks better. He has a way better rotation on his three. He has way better mechanics on his three-point shot. And I have more confidence in Mohamedou Guy shooting three-pointers in the long term than Chris Boucher does right now. Like, Chris does that weird spin around like this to go in the basket. Well, Mohamedou Guy's got the traditional kind of rotation on his shot that makes me feel better about it. And then the other thing he flashed at Summer League that we really liked was his ball handling skills. We actually saw Mo Gee bring the ball up the court in transition, and he has that precious, I can attack the rim and get y'all if y'all are lagging off on me, or he has some vision and he can get the pass over to somebody else real quick and make a fast break happen. So I like those kind of things about him. In some ways, him being able to dribble the ball more soundly than Chris. I shouldn't be comparing him to Chris. In some ways, Chris is a guy of accomplishment. He's a two-time NBA champion. He's done so many different things. He's a G League champion. He's a G League MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. And in some ways, Mo Gee will never probably maybe get to some of those heights as Chris, but maybe he does. I don't know. But in some ways, I shouldn't compare them all the time because they are completely different players to a degree, but there are similarities for sure. Yeah, Guy's awesome. And I just love that we got a hook on him, and he's a part of the Raptors organization for sure because he's going to be good. He'll be fun to watch in training camp and also in the preseason. We'll have to see. And then on 905 this year, I want him to kick so much butt. So much butt. All right, Iceman saying Malachi is going to bust out. The coaching change and the pick and roll style of Darko work to Flynn's benefit. Nick Nurse leaving is like removing 1,000-pound weight off his back. Plus, he's a pit bull on D. I love this. I love the confidence in Malachi shown by Iceman like Gervin. And you know what? I want to believe exactly what you're saying. I hope you're right. And hopefully he does have a very successful thing. And you're exactly right that Nick was holding him back and he's gone. The new system by Darko is conducive to him. I agree with this. I think what you're saying is exactly right. If he's going to be doing pick and rolls, it really will benefit Malachi and make him more useful in some ways. So I can see what you're saying being true. I really do. And in some ways, I am rooting for him and I want this to happen. But if he doesn't show like he's anything different or anything, and I'm be like, well, Nick's gone now. We can't blame him anymore, Malachi. It's on you at this point. And that's all I'll say at that time. Chris is here. Good to see MSJ. What's with all the newest signings? I can't keep track. Doughton done? No, Doughton got signed too. It's just that his is a partial guarantee. Everybody else has got guaranteed money, which is a little bit of a nod that like maybe Jeffrey is the guy who's on his way out, which is sad because I feel like he deserves it. Some ways, some people would argue, David specifically, that he deserves it way more than Ron Harper Jr. in some ways. I get it. Isaac Campbell's got butthole face. I'm not totally sure why. But hey, we'll let it happen. It's all good. Butthole face is in effect. All right, let me go look at Team Canada stuff on Twitter real quick. Really cool stuff. Like I said, there's all smiles in the pictures. SGA talking about how RJ had no choice because his dad's in charge. We're seeing these guys doing shooting competitions against each other. There's just all kinds of good, fun stuff, palling around, smiles, wearing the red and white. I love it so much. I want these guys to be so successful and to kick so much butt. You go, Canada. We love you, Team Canada. Once again, y'all, if y'all really want a snapshot look at what's going on with the Raptors 21-man roster going into things right now, I'll post the link once again. I'll put it in the comments on the thing, but it's also here in the chat. It'll be in the comments afterwards too. So you can go look at this, and it's kind of organized now. We see everybody who's kind of involved with the Raptors this year as far as players and coaches, and you can go look at it. It's a really quick, easy reference guide. We already looked at the Instagram today. I've looked at that. Yeah, we already talked about all that. Talked about Rico Hines. And I don't think there's really anything else. Other thing is, of course, check your WNBA fantasy teams and make your setup, your lineups so that you can compete in the great WNBA Fantasy League. Once again, the winner gets the Nick Nurse whistle from his coach's open house last year that I got. You get the Nick Nurse whistle, the coach's whistle. Very special whistle, a memento of our old coach, our NBA champion, Nick Nurse. And I think it's very nice. So it's a very cool thing to win. So if you can win this WNBA Fantasy League, you get Nick Nurse whistle. Let's see. MSJ saying, anyone going down to play Jay Butler for $700 for a one-on-one game at his summer camp? Laugh out loud. Crazy he's doing that. What? Jimmy Butler is doing a camp, and he has a thing where if you can beat him, he will pay you $700. That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic and awesome. It reminds me of the old Carney wrestling days where you go to the ring and you say, if anyone can beat me in this ring right now, we'll pay them $100. And then all these people run in the ring and try and beat this guy. But the guy in the ring would be a trained professional who knew how to break people's arms really quick. And he would do shit like that. He basically is like, yeah, you want your $100? Come in here. And he'd fight like 10 people in a row and kick all their asses. Now, if somebody beat them, they'd be like, oh, crap, we got to pay them. And then they'd be talking to them and being saying like, you know what? Would you like to come and join us? Oh, wrestling Carney stuff is funny. It's awesome. It's real, Chris. That's awesome. Jimmy Butler's awesome. There's also a clip of Jimmy Butler in a car getting interviewed by a little girl who's saying, Jimmy, your coffee is too expensive. It's $20 a cup. And Jimmy's like, yeah, I know. He's like, can you give us a coupon? He's like, no, I'm not going to give you a coupon. In fact, I'm raising the price on you. The cup of coffee is now $25, little girl, and it'll be $50 if your dad wants one too. And she's like, oh, man, Jimmy, cutthroat businessman. Very, very much, yeah. And congratulations to Kyle. I don't even know what Kyle did. I don't understand that comment in the chat from yesterday about Kyle Lowry. Monique, can you elaborate? Because basically what you said was Lisa Miller, Kyle Lowry's aunt on Facebook, Said Saturday was 10-year value renewal. I was blessed to witness my favorite basketball player and his beautiful wife say I do again. What a beautiful. Oh, okay. So Kyle Lowry had his 10-year wedding anniversary, is what you're saying? Okay. I got you. I got you now. All right. Isaac saying, what child has 699? I mean, I don't think he's playing kids. I think he's going to play like adults, isn't Jimmy? I mean, why would he do that against the kids? That's not fair. You know, we've seen Fred VanVleet do horrible things to children. We've seen Scotty get children to do horrible things to him, like crossing him over on the court when they play little children. What, Jimmy's going to put money involved in this? Oh, my gosh. This is crazy. This is out of control. All right, y'all. I'm going to wrap things up real quick, just over an hour. I appreciate y'all watching. Tomorrow, we'll do a Thursday think tank, and we'll talk about the roster. We'll talk about more about who you think the odd man out is and what could happen with the team as far as the 21 players that we have named at this point and stuff like that. Let's see. Denial saying, Lex, you pay him $700. You pay him $700 to play him? Oh my gosh. It's not that if you beat him, he pays you $700. You have to pay him $700 to play him. Well, this man is just money hungry, obviously. He's selling $25 cups of coffee and he wants you to pay him $700 just to play him one-on-one. Yeah. Anybody wants to do that, you go ahead. You must really like Jimmy Butler if you're going to spend that money to do that. And maybe it's a great memory. Some people are saying, I'd pay $10,000 to sit and have lunch with Jay-Z. Okay, you go ahead and spend that money and do that kind of stuff. Whatever. That's crazy. That is crazy. $700. His camp is $350, and you can pay $700 more to play him actually on one-on-one. These guys, I don't know, man. They're greedy. They just really want a lot of money, I guess. They get paid a whole lot of money on top, and then they're figuring out all kinds of really crazy ways of this. I mean, it is what it is. People want to pay it. It's a free world and stuff like that. But in some ways, I'm like, that's kind of disgusting in some ways. You know, I don't know. It doesn't make me like Jimmy Butler more. Some ways it makes me think, you know, what the fuck, man? This guy is like telling this little girl, well, your cup is now $5 more because you challenged me on the cup, the price point of my coffee. You challenged me, so now it's going to be $25 for you. Like that, I don't like these looks. The materialism and the lust for money and greed in this world is going to destroy us all. And in some ways, I don't blame musicians and athletes for getting the money and being like this. I blame our society in general and things like people putting billionaires on pedestals and stuff like that. Greed in this kind of way is awful, and it's really bad. And in some ways, this sends a really bad message, what Jimmy's doing here. Similar to stuff like with Scotty in certain ways, and other people that like money is the most important thing to them and just revolves around them. Okay. Well, you will never actually truly be happy because money has to be involved in your happiness. And that's too bad. That's very much too bad. If you get more basic in your life, you can find very simple happiness if you don't value money so much. Trust me, I know for sure. Let's see. MSJ saying Jimmy should be giving coffee out for free. Fucking guy. Yeah, I get this. Like I would if he was talking to some guy, but he's talking to like a 6-year-old kid, a little girl, and he's being like that. And I was like, you're kind of a mean for being like that towards her. I know maybe he's being cute and stuff, and everybody's like, oh, he's just such a cutthroat businessman. But yeah, once again, that mentality is going to destroy us all in this world. It really is. The exploitation and this kind of stuff is going to destroy us all. We are all going to go away on this planet just because people are greedy. And that's just going to be the truth of it in the next 100 years. Watch. All right, y'all. On that light, heartening note, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And thanks for talking to me about Team Canada. I'm really happy and promising optimism of this team led by Jordi Fernandez. I think that they're getting off to a good start this week here in Toronto, and hopefully they can carry it into competitions leading up to it to get ready, and then actually at Jakarta in Indonesia when they start playing in the World Cup. So thank you, and I'll see y'all tomorrow for a Thursday Think Tank. So figure out what you think about the Raptors roster. Check out my spreadsheet, and maybe it'll kind of help you figure out who you think might be the odd person out, because there is one person on that 21-man roster that will be cut and will not be a Raptor for this season. And who will it be? We'll have to find out. Thank you, Isaac, for the Maple Leafs. Very awesome. Let's go Raptors and Team Canada.